again, he was just peeling back layers of himself. You know what I'm saying? And I think that for me, you know, as long as y'all been watching Dead and Hip Hop, I've always said I'm super into that. You know, I want to get to know who the person is or why they became who they became. And you get that on here. Dead and Hip Hop album review. Killer Michael. Last time we did one was the last time he dropped a solo project, which is damn near over a decade ago. But we've covered all the Run the Jewels stuff. We covered his solo album. So if you want to know how we feel about Killer Myke in the past, obviously we got that content. Go check it out. It's on the channel. But going into the album, Michael. So I'm not even gonna front, bro. When you cut on this project right here, this is the epitome of bumping the whip music from get-go. From Down by Law, the way it comes in with them horns, oh my God. And then the bass, that shit is fucking knocking. This project from a production perspective for me was everything I wanted Killer Myke to do. Why? Because for the last decade, like I said, he's been doing Run the Jewels, and that has a particular sound, and Killer Myke sounds amazing on that. But this is a solo project, so it's like I need whatever that production was gonna be to bring it out, and it did. And this album, from beginning to end, from a production standpoint, felt like the ghetto gospel. It's like he just gave us the hardcore Atlanta ghetto gospel.
Yeah, it was definitely like I feel like a gospel organs theme, like the theme of the production for the most part.
A lot of organs.
What? What happened?
Shit was like Fast and the Furious. Fast and the Furious Part B.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was good, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
He said we family.
Dumb, bro.
But B, I agree with you, man. Like the organs, a lot of the horns, the singing, you know what I'm saying? And it brought it all home production.
What sound you thought you were gonna get? Did you think you were gonna get like this? Did you listen to the EP that he put out?
No, I didn't listen to the EP. I didn't listen to the EP, so I didn't know where he was going. I didn't know where he was gonna go. I just hope that it wasn't just a copy of Run the Jewels. Because like we got that, and that's dope. But like I didn't want a copy of that. But what I got production wise, this is what I want Killer Myke on.
Yeah, I remember when.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say, I ain't trying to fast and
What's
furious.
going on, man?
No, I was gonna say like the first thing I thought that came to my mind is like this is how you start an album, you know. And as I was thinking about it, like he's been really good at that, or they've been really good at that with all the Run the Jewels projects. Like they have mastered how to open an album, and it seemed like that's just bled over into this or whatever. So yeah, he definitely did that. He's like, oh, this is the one. This is how I'm starting it, and yeah, he fucking went crazy on that first beat. I think I did listen to the EP. We actually Ken, myself, and I think Spike,
yeah.
So I had already heard like "Don't Let the Devil In," like which was crazy beat wise. Did you like that one with the?
I didn't. Well, yeah, I did.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I didn't listen to
yeah.
the EP though, but
What
like,
EP are y'all talking about?
So it was like it looks like it was a single, but it actually when you go to it, it was an actual like
They do that.
You know how they do those
yeah.
3-song EPs?
Yeah, it's a single,
But all
but
three
it's
songs were on here though,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I like the production all the way from front to end like you though. Like once the second half wasn't as impressive to me in spots as it was in the top half, but for the most part, it did follow a, like you said, like a gospel type of theme. I think as the project went along, the energy kind of died down for me personally.
Let me ask you this. Was it around track Exit 9? What track is that? Was it around track 10? Exit 9?
Something like that. I want to say even a little bit before that, Spaceship Views, but mine probably Exit 9.
Spaceship Views.
Nah,
That's when it started
That shit a
to
knocker.
Exit 9. So
kind
Exit
of
9.
taper off and mellow out a
Yeah,
little
it
bit.
starts mellowing out. So it's Exit 9. Yeah.
And it sounded like it was like, I'm going to go towards this end. And like the opening track was great, high energy, set it off. you know, and it kind of
Shed Tears was hard.
Yeah.
Mozzie. Oh, you ain't talking features just yet.
But because Currency was on that on Spatial View. So now it was Exit 9. So that's the one where it started to kind of, and then like obviously, like I said, Don't Let the Devil In is
it brings it back.
But like for the most part, it was a lot more singing and stuff like that.
I give you that. Like the energy did come down a bit, but to me, it was in line with the music that was being created. It's like it wasn't just done for the sake of doing it. Like it fit the.
It felt very intentional.
Yeah, because like Something for the Junkies, like to me that was actually one of my favorite joints, just overall, like from a production standpoint and the messaging that was in that. Like I think it was very powerful. We don't really get a lot of tracks like that, but from a production standpoint, it was a little bit more somber. You know what I'm saying? So I feel where you're coming from, but I loved it because, like Ken said, it was intentional for the music that was being made.
I was kind of concerned and curious about what he was going to do with this. Not concerned. Concerned isn't a good word, but
Curious.
Well, actually, concerned might be a good word, to be honest, because the first song I heard was Run, and I didn't really feel it like that. And then the Don't Let the Devil In came out, and I was like, all right, this is cool. But yeah, I'm with you in the sense of I didn't really care to hear him continuing to do Run the Jewels, it's Run the Jewels without LP. I was like, all right, well, that's not what I really want. So I was actually expecting more of a continuation from rap music. But off of the 3 singles that I heard, I was like, oh, that's not what he's doing. And this is a prime example of one of the situations where I like songs way better with the album. Because when those singles came out, I didn't love them. I thought they were cool, but I didn't love them. But I'm with you. Second you hit play, I was like, oh, here we go. This sounds like Atlanta. And it seems like he was like, all right, I've given you this weird amalgamation of New York and Atlanta for the past 10 years. I'm gonna bring y'all back to Atlanta real quick. You know, because rap music was amazing. I love that project. It didn't feel like Atlanta, really. You know what I mean? This album feels like Atlanta. As far as it tapering off, I don't know. I disagree with y'all. I think that a lot of this felt mellow and somber. And, you know, I don't think there was much high energy stuff on here. Most of this felt very soulful and gospel tinged. So
yeah, I don't think that went anywhere. Yeah, I agree with that it still all had that underlying gospel theme to it. But I do think some of them wasn't as high energy. Not saying that that's a bad thing. It was just something that I noticed that I disagree with Feefo on as far as like the energy from front to back. Like front to back for me, it just kind of tapered off on energy.
See, I never felt high energy with this album. There's only a few songs where I feel high energy. The first one, Talking That Shit, Scientists and Engineers.
Shed Tears.
I didn't feel high energy with Shed Tears.
So it's not necessarily like high energy, like you want to bounce, but but it's very like there was a certain energy. Like Mozzie brought like a certain energy to that track to me. So it's like that wasn't somber. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't feel low energy.
It didn't feel low energy. It just felt soulful.
I give you that.
I got soulful throughout this entire project. I didn't get anything where I was like, oh shit, oh okay.
Oh, that first
I didn't
one.
get that, except for the first song and the ones I just named.
Yeah, Spaceship Views. That shit.
Yeah, Spaceship Views was pretty hard. But outside of that, another part where I agree with Feefo is this. I think the production went with his messaging and his tone of his lyrics. This was not a loud banging whatever album. It was just like it sounded like a very personal, soulful album. It is not even remotely what I was expecting from Killer Myke at this point. Because this is so opposite of what everybody has heard from him over the past 10 years. I was surprised to get this.
You know, I want to go back to something that you said that I 100% agree with, where you said it feels like Atlanta. Reminds me of the song Put On by Jeezy and Kanye. Like, this nigga literally put on for the city. You know what I'm saying? From a production standpoint, from a feature standpoint, like it's a lot of Atlanta on here.
I will be the honest one here and say I didn't like this at first. I did not like this at first. I think I'm one of the people that expected that rap music production, and I didn't get it at first. I was like, I don't know.
Not to sound corny. Oh, this what? I'm sorry. You paused.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying not to sound corny, but I mean, seeing the album cover, I'm like, okay, he's definitely not going for this rap music sound. I had a feeling he was going to kind of go with it, kind of bring it back to Atlanta, bring it back to who is Michael. You know what I'm saying? That's Atlanta. So I kind of had a feeling the production was going to be way different from what we heard from him before. Just I feel like he had to. I feel like this was a moment where he had to make something different from rap music as far as on the production standpoint.
I disagree.
Really?
With he had to.
I feel
Because
like he did.
someone at the status of Killer Mike at this point didn't have to. He could have easily did rap music again and been fine. Because you gotta think of who his core audience has become in 2023.
Right.
So he didn't have to go to Atlanta and do soulful. I think he wanted to.
And maybe I'm looking at it as someone who was a fan of Killer Mike before running
Right,
Jewels.
exactly.
So if he would have made like a rap music type production, I honestly would have been kind of like, well, damn, I heard this the last 5 albums that you've done. So yeah, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Like,
Oh, go
I
ahead.
would have been, I would have been a little like, damn.
I don't think rap music sounded like Run the Jewels.
It was like a prequel to it. I mean,
But from a production standpoint, it's
yeah, I
still
mean,
sounded a
yeah,
bit-
LP was definitely, but still, if it would have been on that wavelength of sound, I guess ish, if that makes sense, I think I would have been like, I heard this before.
So you like the fact that he sort of like went back to his roots, went home.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I saw the album cover, that still amazed me that people still use baby pictures as album covers. But I mean, damn, Nas, that's crazy that people still do that shit. Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely. This is gonna be some Southern soulful shit. Like, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of with Myke a little bit for different reasons, because Run sounded so outside of the album, it sounded dated. And I'm like, man, is he gonna kind of go back to that sort of thing for most of the album? And he didn't. And within the confines of the album, it flowed and fit right in.
Yeah.
It sounded way better mixed in with everything else that was in there.
Yeah,
It kind of had this retro, modernish trap sound to it. I don't know if that's the thing, but yeah.
Yeah, because X and 9 gave me like 94 8-ball MJG type of vibes. Yeah,
Lost.
like so.
Lost,
yeah.
right? Yep.
Yeah,
I had,
yeah,
man,
it gave me
yep.
it gave me that type of vibe. So I think on the
was
production,
one I
he
had?
kind of gave everything as far as just at least for heads our age, even for the younger folk. Like, yeah, I feel like the production was definitely
That's crazy. That's exactly. I said the same thing when I listened to it. I was like, oh shit, this sounds like something that 8-ball would have.
Yeah,
But is this what you would have expected him to do at this point?
I don't know. Like,
Yeah, that's what makes this interesting.
yeah, I don't know. I what does Killer Mike sound like 9 years later outside of rap, after rap music and Run the Jewels?
Right.
What does that sound like? I don't know. And yeah, I think you pulled it off.
To a degree, Mike, yes. Just to a small degree, only because Run the Jewels is so loud. I felt like for his own, he had to turn it down a little bit. So I don't know if this is like what I expected, but I expected a more muted sound than Run the Jewels. I didn't expect a high energy, just because it's like, bro, it's a decade, and again, like you said, it's a duo, and this is not. LP's not really on here. He's on one song, and the one song he's on feels like Run the Jewels to a degree, to a more muted version. But that one was one of the ones that to me had higher energy toward the end as well.
Yeah, I mentioned that one. Yeah, I agree with you.
So in terms of Killer Mike, just overall on this project, to me, man, extremely stellar. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, in my opinion, no misses. Like, he had a lot of people that he collaborated with, which was a bit shocking at but he stood out like every single time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like the joint that I love, like one of my favorite, Spaceship Views, with Currency killed that too. So the 2 Chainz, but like when Killer Mike comes on, it's like, god damn, on another, like on a whole nother thing. The joint that he did with Young Thug, Run, I really like that one as well. And he was very introspective on this, man. I feel like you really got another or a deeper glimpse into who Killer Mike is and why he is who he is. So it's very Atlanta, very, 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 very Atlanta. I know we mentioned that on the production side of things as well. But like Motherless, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was very, very introspective. You know, him losing his mom, grandma not here, kind of just, a song about trying to figure it out.
Do you feel like he was more introspective on the tail end of this album? More introspective, reflective, even?
Nah, I think the whole way, even on the intro.
So it's just the sound may have changed?
Shit,
This
yeah,
is
Track 2.
yeah.
It was just
okay.
the sound.
It's just a sound.
Yeah.
But the whole project, like, again, he was just peeling back layers of himself. You know what I'm saying? And I think that for me, you know, as long as y'all been watching Dead and Hip Hop, I've always said I'm super into that. You know, I want to get to know who the person is or why they became who they became. And you get that on here. You know what I'm saying? So I love that about Killer Myke on this project.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
you
Go
got
ahead. You'll forget, Rod. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Okay. I was fuck.
Now
Now
you
you forgot.
Now you forgot.
He was like hard to stay motivated. You know what I'm saying? And I that hit me, like, you know, like especially doing all the Run the Jewels projects and all of that, and then actually going to something like what he, you know, probably been wanting to do. You know, it's very interesting to find motivation, you know what I'm saying, after doing that, especially to do something so different from Run the Jewels.
And
So I
be
thought that was,
successful too at
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I thought that was a really interesting thing. And you talked about how he, you know, he killed that Currency track, Spatial Reviews. Shit, I felt like that with the Andre 3 Stacks, the Sciences Engineers.
Yep.
Andre 3 Stacks did his thing, but
Yep.
then Killer Myke came on there and was like, you not about to out rap me on my album.
Yeah.
Like, and you could tell it was very intentional. Like, he was like, oh no, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. And so yeah,
'Cause he been killing features.
yeah,
That's why
yeah. So I'm like, nah, you're not about to do that on my album. I'm gonna put you on here, but I'm gonna show you. But you know, it was cool to hear 3 Stacks.
You know
I
what's
think
funny?
Feefo produced that too.
Oh, okay.
He did help. Yeah, I saw that today actually.
Who produced that?
He said he helped produce it.
Damn.
Produced
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
I like what he had the line of holding the trophy closely like Kobe.
Like Kobe, yeah.
Or whatever. I thought that was
On
dope. On Shed
On
Tears. I thought that
yeah.
was super dope.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a LeBron powder line too. Was that him that said that one?
I don't
Somebody
remember
else.
that one. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that
yeah.
was Mozzie.
Yeah.
Damn.
And
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Cut that out.
Damn. Nah.
He said, "Cut that out."
Damn.
and I know y'all was talking, like I said, about the separation from Run the Jewels or whatever. And I think on what is it, Nigga Rich, he was talking about. I know y'all love Run the Jewels, but these are my nigga flows or something like that. So I thought that was he's very intentional.
Yeah.
And he understands his new fan base and all that. So nah, man, Killer Myke was very intentional and he was very personable. I really enjoyed him on this. I know I said when we was talking about production that it kind of tapered off for me, but he never tapered off for me. Like what he was saying, the content and all of that, it matched it. It just, for me, I liked the more high energy tracks. And I know you said that Shed Tears didn't sound quite high energy, but for me, it sounded like a gospel song.
Yeah.
Which was like high energy. And I know we was talking about the underlying theme, like having gospel elements, but that one sounded like it could be an actual gospel song. Like Kanye need to take some notes because that shit, that's how you do a rap gospel song if that's what he was going for. That was really, really impressive.
Killer Myke laced this whole thing. I think content-wise, he was on point. Very, very sharp. Had a lot of really sharp, impactful lines. I think one that stood out for me was when he said, attitude still on fuck it. And I was like, damn. I was like, I like that one. I was like, I'm gonna have to take that one, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just the opening track, I was just like, what in the entire fuck? Like for him, just go and just rap all the way through with no hook or besides CeeLo doing his thing. I'm like, shit. And then it just kept going, and I'm like, there was no breaks. Even the one that the Juicy, the 3 6 Mafia track,
Talking that shit.
shit.
Yeah.
When the beat changed and then he started rapping like one of them, bro, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Why you laughing, man?
Because he called it the juicy. It was the juicy one.
Yeah, I was about to say Juicy.
DJ
J.
Paul.
I know.
DJ
But
Paul.
yeah, it was like the 3 6 joint. Like that shit was crazy because at first I thought it was one of them. I was like, that's fucking Killer Myke. Yeah, he did that a few times, man. Like the content was on point, but it was just the rapping, bro. It was just the
was
rapping
rapping
and
his
all
ass
the
off.
flows and everything.
Yeah, he was rapping his ass
Yeah,
off.
it was no let up. It was no fucking let up.
The only let up I had was with Run. That kind of, because again, when y'all talking about high energy, like that wasn't high energy to me.
That's when
And,
Dave Chappelle was talking in the beginning, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, everything else, I was like, this is interesting to me because he's been doing this hardcore, super lyrical, rapidy rap shit for the past 10 is it 10 years?
Yeah.
That's
Something
where
like
the Jewels
that.
been going?
Yeah.
Sound about right.
Rap music was
Christ.
2012 and then Run the Jewels 2013.
Yeah, so 10 years, yeah. I wasn't expecting a super shift in flows, but this is shit that, like you said, his nigga flows. It's not what I would hear on Run the Jewels. And I found that interesting. But again, it was off-putting the first listen through.
That's what he said. He said nigga flow.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought
you brought the line.
Oh,
up.
yeah. I thought you were saying like I said. Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, if you came up with that, you need to be a rapper too. But nah, like you talking about, and I didn't realize it was nigga rich. I was just like, I thought, I don't know what I thought. Doesn't matter. But I was like, in rich. He's getting rich. But nah, that song had one of my favorite lines where he said, I was in cahoots with the spooks that sat by Massa's dome.
Yeah.
And when the revolution let off, we slit Massa's throat. I was like, oh, that's a hard bar. But there were plenty of hard bars all over this project. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by what we got from this project. The fact that he's rapping so differently, but it's still so dope. And it's still really technical when you sit down and listen to it. What he's doing with his flows, the internal rhyme schemes, but he still keeps it extremely Southern. And you brought up something earlier that I want to touch on, but we moved too quick for me, was when you were like, yeah, I like when a rapper starts peeling off layers and we get to know him. Because when you said that, it really clicked. I don't think we really got to know Killer Myke as a person through Run the Jewels. Like, I think we get his, his kind of revolutionary side, his political side, his kind of idealistic side. But we got more of his personal side, like especially with songs like you brought up Something for the Junkies, where he's talking about how he had to sell coke or whatever, or maybe it wasn't coke. I don't know what he was selling. He was selling some type of drugs.
Said he was a dope boy.
Yeah.
Some type of illegal
He was
substances.
a dope boy.
Yeah.
Okay. He was very vulnerable on here.
But then he talks about his aunt having a drug addiction issue. I think that's really dope that he's that honest and he's that transparent with the fact that he was selling drugs to get a better life, but he was simultaneously ruining other people's lives.
Exactly. And he had that realization in the song, but I think the most powerful was at the end when he said, when he was playing his aunt and his aunt said, I know when you say that you love me, you really mean it because you don't treat me like a junkie, you treat me like a person.
Yeah.
That right there, I was like, holy shit. And it's always two sides of substance abuse. You know what I'm saying? And that and to me, when you can clearly depict that dichotomy in a song, and it's powerful because you're not just talking about some random person. You're talking about a family member.
Yeah.
That's deep, man. That's tough.
Like I loved on Down by Law, where it sounds like a hard Southern song, but then towards the end he starts talking about how we need to free Leonard Peltier and Asada Shakur. And I think shit like that is really dope. There were a couple things on here that I had questions about. I could have personally done without the Brokeback Mountain bar. It's just, I know it's rapper stuff, but it's just kind of getting a little tired, especially on an album that was this lyrically dense. But everything else on here, man, I agree with what I think it was Rob that was talking about scientists and engineers. How, yeah, he didn't let Andre steal the show. He knows people are going to show up because they're like, oh shit, there's an Andre verse. This is crazy. But then you get to Killer Myke's and he's like, oh, don't forget this is my album. This is my shit. But I am just mostly impressed with the fact that he pulled so far away from Run the Jewels. He pulled back to that traditional Southern sound, but he still gave us flows that we haven't heard. I think that's really impressive, but I wasn't expecting an album this personal. I would be surprised, honestly, to hear anyone from here being like, yeah, this ain't that good. I'm telling you, I don't even this shit feels so much like Atlanta, but it feels like a certain part of Atlanta, but he still sprinkles in different areas. He sprinkles in Decatur, he sprinkles in Camp Creek. I think that's really, really, really dope. So yeah, this was a great fucking project lyrically and rap wise. And I think I like it so much because I wasn't expecting to like it after hearing a couple of the singles and then sitting back and being like, yeah, I now love those singles. I didn't love Don't Let the Devil at first. But man, I mean, I didn't dislike it, but I was like, all right, this is cool. But now I'm like, okay, that song is fucking dope.
Another thing I wanted to point out too, and I know we're running long, but I like this song, the Motherless Child song, where he's like, my mama dead, my grandma dead. And I think I told y'all before, I was working with a death doula, and that was one of the things that she said or pointed out, that a lot of people don't use the word dead when they talk about the passing of a loved one or whatever.
I've never even mentioned that with my mother. Like I just like, yeah, she passed away.
Yeah,
like,
so it's almost like,
yeah.
But the death doula said that it's your way of not like really wanting to let it go or whatever. So the fact that he said it like that, I was like, oh, like, wow. So I wonder if he's that not comfortable with it, but like he's secure with it, because at peace with it, because he didn't really sound like he was at peace with it. Right. But the fact that he was just like, my mama did, my grandma did, it feels kind of cringy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like I said, if I would never saw, because I don't say it either. I'm trying to change it, because after doing the death doula stuff, I'm learning a lot about death and dying and things like that, and it's and the being able to accept it, so and to be able to grieve or whatever. I thought it was interesting that he took that approach with the way he conveyed that or whatnot. So that stuck out to me a lot.
And I think the thing that kind of really got me were the features, because just opening up with CeeLo, who kind of really set the tone of that sort of soulful gospel Southern type of sound that we got throughout here, thanks to Aaron Allen Kane, who was fucking amazing on this whole album. Like, she was taking me to church. She was taking me to church, bro. But also the thing that kind of got me was how he managed to get out of rappers that I don't particularly care for, how I was able to enjoy them on here. Like Future, I'm with you on Future. Like the way he was used and what Future did on, I was like, damn,
he sounded emotional, didn't he?
Yeah,
like he sounded like
really
he wanted
good.
to get personal.
Yeah, I was like, dang, I was like, okay, what's going on here? Most of these guys on here I like, but I think what did it for me was, and when I was like, man, not only is this album like Southern and black and this, that, and other, like it's really fucking Atlanta. When fucking Jagged Edge was on,
bro.
With
I forgot to mention where, why, like how.
They
sounded good.
Yeah, I did not recognize them, man. The harmonies was on part when it kind of went from the middle to
on another personal ass song.
Man.
Slumber was like for him to open up about that.
He literally put on for the city. CeeLo from Atlanta, Young Thug from Atlanta, Black from Atlanta, Jagged Edge
Black
from
was.
Atlanta.
I didn't know Black was.
Eastside, Decatur. Andre 3 Stacks, Future from Atlanta.
Fabo.
2 Chainz.
Fabo.
On Junkies.
I'm not familiar.
On Junkies.
Fabo?
Man, yeah.
He's the Lil Jon era.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't me. So.
Yeah.
If you saw him,
Cool.
I think you'll be able to identify him. Like,
I liked him.
Yeah,
I didn't know who he
Fabo.
was though.
Yeah, Fabo.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
D4L. Like,
that's what he's from.
Yeah, that's
oh,
him.
you could have just said that. Look at that. Young and Atlanta and Atlanta ass.
because you know Charlie Lowe, right?
Shit. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So he's in the same group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was so Atlanta, like from the features. But then the ones that aren't from Atlanta, how he sprinkled them in, again, Mozzie, like, bro, he was perfect for that song. But it's like, what made you know he was perfect for that song?
I didn't even know that was Mozzie, bro.
Really? Oh, I knew.
I don't know Mozzie like that, but I knew I liked whoever that was. I was like, oh, that sounded really good, especially following how fucking technical Killer Myke was. But what made me also have me thinking about this album is I'm really curious to see how his fans receive it.
That is going to be interesting.
Because again, I don't think you can really criticize the rapping. Killer Mike's gonna fucking rap. Killer Mike's gonna talk shit. He's not talking nearly as much shit as he does in Run the Jewels, but this is so different. And I feel like if I never moved to Georgia, I probably wouldn't fuck with this. If I had stayed in fucking Sacramento, I don't think that I would want to hear this.
You probably wouldn't want to hear a lot of things.
Yeah, right. True. But living here and driving around, even hearing shit that I don't like, it's just so interesting that Killer Myke pulled so many different elements, so many different types of flows. Like that flow on Run is completely different than anything I've heard from Run the Jewels, or even from rap music, or even some of the Bang mixtapes. It don't sound like that, or the Grind Time mixtapes. But I feel like it's so dope that Killer Myke, like you said, is really, really, really putting on for Atlanta and reminding motherfuckers where he's from.
Did you like Currency?
I didn't know it was Currency because I don't know Currency's voice like that. I liked that Currency more than I like other Currency.
I feel you.
I wouldn't say that made me want to go run out and buy a Currency album, but I don't think he sounded bad.
No,
Typically, I don't like Currency like that, but I think he sounded a little bit more energetic than I normally hear him.
Currency brought it. Currency brought it. You know, I'm definitely the Currency fan on the show. Currency brought it, and I've listened to damn near every project that he's dropped since the last time we reviewed him. But I
think he fit in perfectly with Myke and 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz brought it.
2 Chainz always gonna bring it, especially these days.
But you know what's interesting? 2 Chainz was talking about he don't want to do trap rap no more, and then listening to this verse, I was like, ooh. Like I'm excited that
you think that sounded like got it.
Yeah,
got
he's
it,
not
got it.
doing trap
Got
rap,
you.
and
Yeah.
that this did not sound like trap rap. And I'm like, and you know, like before he like officially announced it, you know, on the features you heard it, like he's like, dang, he's not on that funny shit no more. Like he's really rap.
He still
to a
says them
degree,
clever lines,
of
but he's
course.
not. I don't think he wants people laughing at him anymore.
Exactly.
Aaron Allen Kane from Detroit. I feel like, have you told me
you
about
from
her
Detroit?
before?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, yeah. Because I have 2 of her EPs in my library. I was just checking, and I was just like, "Oh, wait a minute!" I was like, "Oh, they got these in my library." That's why I was like, "Wait a minute, wait a damn second.
I thought it was Jasmine Sullivan.
I could see that.
Nah, I looked up the track list. It had her name, but
No, I know it is.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
saying, I
You said
thought it was
initially
Jasmine.
when you first heard it, you thought it was
He said, "Yo,
Jasmine.
dumbass can't read."
Damn.
He said, "Why the? How you read
Right.
Jasmine from Aaron?"
I mean, I echo what Feefo said. Like, I feel like he definitely went Atlanta with the features, like he did with the the guys from his era before then to the newer guys. I think that was a dope mix for him to have. As far as all the Atlanta features, I think that was dope as fuck. I mean, everybody brought it. Like, and y'all mentioned I think Feefo said even the guys that's not from Atlanta kind of brought it. Ty Dolla $ign, Currency, like they all.
What song was he on?
He's on
Ty Dolla $ign.
He was on High and Holy, and he was on 2 days. He was on 2 days in High and Holy. Yep.
Okay.
He was doing the singing on that one. So yeah, he even brought Ty Dolla $ign came and did his thing.
It's
So,
cool
yeah.
that he's the glue for all this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of artists couldn't do this.
Yeah.
Couldn't pull like these old dudes and pull these new dudes and throw them on an album and make it sound good.
That's what make these features so amazing. This is
Yeah.
like he put all these guys in this
and
pot.
no one was whack.
No.
Usually there's at least one
Like
guy
I
where you're
said,
like,
even-
I could have done without him.
People I'm not even really a huge fan of. I'm like, man, they actually sound good on this track.
I'm just playing.
Even though I didn't like Black, I didn't think he was trash. or
Yeah,
anything
like
that.
everyone.
Nah, nobody was bad.
In the context of
nobody
this
was
album,
bad.
everyone sounded good for
Yeah,
what
yeah,
he needed
nah.
for. I
He
thought-
did a good ass job
Yeah.
for being away from solo projects for
Yep.
over 10 years. He did a good ass job.
Great job.
And I guarantee he's gonna surprise a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
he
that's
is.
what I want to watch. I want to see the white people fucking pissed off because he started an album with a bunch of words that they can't
Right.
say.
Exactly.
He said nigga about 38 times in that first song.
Right.
But yeah, man,
Yeah.
I'm with you, B. Yeah, it's
This is great, man.
Yeah, this is
like,
great.
I mean, like I said, again, I don't mean to sound like a Nostradamus or anything like that, but the title, everything, I'm just like, the rapping, I wasn't expecting him to rap this good.
Damn.
But as far, I'm just saying he was rapping his ass off.
damn.
No, I didn't mean that. Put the
Yes,
back
you
on me.
did.
I didn't mean it in a negative way, Mike. All right, I know you can rap, but like, I
But I didn't know you
wasn't
could rap
expecting
this
the
good.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't expect the flows to be like this. But as far as the content, I'm like, okay, he's gonna have to go personal on this. So when when I got songs like Slumber and Motherless and High and Holy and Exit, like I was just like, yes, like this is what I was kind of expecting when I saw the album artwork in the title. I'm like, this is it. So you knocked it out the park for me.
Killer Myke, if you watching, amazing album. Hopefully we ain't gotta wait almost a decade or a decade plus for another solo project. But man, everything you knocked out the park on this particular project. Obviously, all of your raps, the introspection, the features, the production. In all honesty, and I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, this is probably the best album I've heard so far this year.
And then you were hyperbolic.
But I'm just saying,
You an asshole.
I'm just saying, based off of what I've listened to this year, this is my favorite one so far.
No, man, this is good, man. This one definitely spoke to me. And I guess for me, like I know Myke said, you know, he felt more emotional. I felt emotional as well, but I also felt the I guess spiritual theme. I won't even say like religious theme or whatever. Is more like just God, you know, godly theme or whatever, especially with the gospel sound. Being Southern, so I know, you know, you probably came up that way. And you included it into your music, man. You know, that, you know, I felt that in the music. And yeah, man, I just appreciate you being like so vulnerable and transparent. I think Myke brought that up as well. Like you definitely were, especially on Slumber or whatever. Like I could sort of kind of relate to that. Like just people that have gone through those type of situations. So that one hit. The mama dead, my grandma dead. Like that one hit because I'm still coping with the loss of my grandmother. So, and I know, you know, other people that cope with that as well. So that hit, man, you just hit on a lot of different notes here. And it was just really cool for you to actually successfully steer away from Run the Jewels. Like, that's really impressive. And like, you know, that just circles back to the first track when I said, like you said, you know, hard to stay motivated. And I was like, man, I deal with that too. So, you know, you keep doing something for so long. We've been doing this for over 10 years, you know, and we got to find ways to keep ourselves motivated to continue to do it. So all of that hit, man. Like, you really touched on some very good things on here. So yeah, man, I definitely appreciate this one. And yeah, if you decide to do another solo, man, whenever you do it, man, I'm here for it.
Yes, Killer Myke, if you're watching, man, great album. I feel like you touched on a lot of different subjects, you know what I'm saying? And it was definitely it was a heartfelt album, it was a fun album, you know, like it was a serious album. Like I feel like you had everything right with this album mixed up, and it was sequenced good. But to me, I thought it was sequenced really good. I didn't think, you know, the sound of the album, I think you didn't like messed up or anything where it's like, oh, you could have put this track. Like I feel like the way the album flowed was perfect. Like I said, you just had everything going with this album. And I pretty much, I was expecting you to kind of make an album like this with the title and the artwork. Like I was like, yes, he has to. I feel like after the last decade, man, you had to like remind folks, longtime fan like myself and the Run the Jewels fans. Like you had to let them know, like, no, I'm Atlanta. So, and you did that with this album. So great job.
Killer Myke, I love this album. You know, I'm thankful that you kind of returned to the roots, you know, and you gave me, you know, I needed something to kind of turn up to, bro. You know, for real, just something high energy that I could put on and just like let this shit just go, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just been kind of mellow, boom bapish, man. I needed some real black ass shit, and you gave me a black ass fucking album. So I appreciate that shit, from the gospel to the soul to the singing to the rapping to everything, bro. Like I'm thankful. So I appreciate it. I am blessed, bro? I'm blessed, bro.
High and holy,
black,
blessed and highly favored.
high and holy.
Jesus. I agree with B. I love the fact that you took the time to remind people where you're from. I feel like a lot of people have got you musically twisted for the past 10 years, you know, and I love the fact that you brought them back. And I found it interesting to see what you do post Run the Jewels. And I love the fact that the only song that was even remotely Run the Jewels-ish was the song with L on it. I don't think it sounded like Run the Jewels, but I know you figured people would get that. And I even kind of think that your flow on that song was a direct callback to The Ground Below, the Run the Jewels song. But the more I listen to it, I could be imagining that. But it doesn't matter. This shit is great. I love how personal it is. I do think that you actually took a chance with doing an album like this. And I love that you said, fuck it. What was the line again, Ken?
Attitude still on fuck it.
Attitude still on fuck it. I love that shit. You were serious, like B said. You were funny. You were very, 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 very personal. And typically, when I listen to an album and I don't love it at first, but then I love it on second listen, I'm gonna end up with Feefo. Even if Rod thinks it's hyperbolic, I think I'm gonna end up with Feefo. This is one of the best albums I've heard this year because it clicked on that second listen. And I was like, I see what he's doing. He doesn't need to do some crazy high energy break shit. You've been doing that for 10 years.
Right.
You want to talk about who you are and how you got here. The people that made you, the people that inspired you. I love this album. I think you did an amazing job, and I really hope this is not the only solo project we get from you over the next 10 years. I think we needed this from you, bro. And yeah, man, I'm very happy with this project.